Are you at risk of losing your home? Do you know someone that is? Or have you already suffered from a foreclosure? The mortgage crisis is a devastating problem plaguing Valley residents, and we're all feeling the effects. Tonight, we're giving homeowners advice from a live panel of experts and taking your calls. This is Facing the Mortgage Crisis.
Facing the Mortgage Crisis is made possible through a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
This program has been brought to you in part by a generous grant from the George and Desa Bellier Charitable Trust, committed to the fair and unbiased sharing of news and public affairs. George and Desa Bellier Charitable Trust, proud supporters through the Fresno Regional Foundation of Valley Public Television.
And viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Claudia Solis Alcala. Welcome to Facing the Mortgage Crisis. This is a live call-in program right here on Valley Public Television, and it's being simulcast live on Valley Public Radio, KVPR FM 89.3 Fresno, and KPRX FM 89.1 Bakersfield. As you well know, the mortgage crisis has hit the Valley hard. California cities accounted for 6 of the top 10 metropolitan areas for foreclosure activity in May. Of those 10 areas, Merced ranked number 5 with 1 in 78 housing units under foreclosure. Bakersfield was number 7 with 1 in 94 homes in foreclosure. So, as you can see, the Central Valley continues to be at the epicenter of the nation's foreclosure crisis. It's obvious that Valley residents need help, but where can they turn and what should they look for? To answer these pivotal questions, we have an esteemed panel of local experts. Starting to my left, Doug Broughton, president of the Better Business Bureau of Central California; Jeff Schrager, president of the local No Homeowner Left Behind Foundation; Elias Delgado, financial specialist with ClearPoint Credit Counseling Solutions; and Don Golick, operations specialist with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Thank you all for joining us. Before we get started with what promises to be a very informational and impactful 30 minutes of television and radio, let's just remind viewers and listeners this is a call-in program. We're here right now to answer your mortgage crisis questions. So give us a call at 441-1818 or 1-800-801-6500. We have a panel of volunteers ready to take your calls. Let's get started. I think what people want to know is, can they save their homes? It's a broad question. A lot of factors play into the answer. Elias, can you get us started?
The answer now, given the stimulus package and the programs out there, the help with the housing counseling agencies, is yes, now more than ever. However, the person needs to be proactive. The homeowner needs to ask themselves the questions: do I want to keep my home? Do I want to stay in this property? Open the mail, look for help, and get the help they need.
Okay, great. Dawn, what is the first step a person can take in saving their home?
Claudia, the most important thing a homeowner can do is to contact a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. There are a number of them here in the San Joaquin Valley and in every state in the country. The assistance they provide is free. There's no cost to the homeowner and no need to pay. And what the agency can do is work with the homeowner to help them evaluate their situation, contact their lender, and see what can be done to help them keep their home if that's what they choose to do.
Okay, great. Doug, now we've all seen the ads on TV. People, there's offers of help. Do you need help with your mortgage? We can help you save your home for just a few $1,000s. You want people to steer clear of these offers, don't you?
We want people to stay away from those offers. The saddest phone calls I've taken over the last year are from former homeowners who have been promised by somebody that they paid $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to, who guaranteed that they'd save their home, and they gave them bad advice and they couldn't do it, and they're trying to get their money back. They've lost their home and they've lost their money, and they turned to the wrong person for advice. What we tell people at the Better Business Bureau is if the counselor is asking for any money in advance, go to a HUD-approved housing counselor. Steer away from those folks because they won't be able to do anything that anybody else would be able to do. In our experience is some of the folks that are in that business are the same folks who recommended the bad loans that people have today. And they just need to be aware that there are free services out there that are going to be better for them in the long run than those that they're paying thousands of dollars for. And that includes the folks who are associated with law firms or attorneys down the line. Just because they're attorneys doesn't mean that they have any, they're associated with attorneys, that they have any more clout with a lender than anybody else does.
So if you find a HUD-approved housing agency, they're trained.
They're trained how to do it, and they have the relationships with the lenders, and the lenders are used to working with the HUD-approved housing counselors and are going to work with them more proactively because there's a higher level of trust. We've talked to lenders in the past who are more leery for the ones that people are paying for than others, and people just need to be aware of that.
Okay. All right. Jeff, tell us some of the ways a housing counselor can help.
Well, as Doug touched on, if you're facing foreclosure, it's a bewildering situation, and it's one that the solutions are not that obvious, and that's why, of course, a lot of foreclosures have happened in our area. So what a housing counselor can do is, because they're trained in the options that are out there, and because they do, and we're trying to even build greater relationships between counseling agencies and lenders, connect the homeowner to those not so obvious solutions that may be there. The worst thing that I can think of is if a solution's out there for somebody and they're not connected to it, well, that might result in a completed foreclosure when there's help out there to help people. It's free, and the solution really is to also connect with the lender, and the housing counselor can help the homeowner make that connection to the lender, because the lender's the one actually making the decisions on the foreclosure, and the lender's the one that needs to consider the situation of the homeowner, the specific facts of that homeowner's case, so that maybe we can get a modification done. But it's very, very key that you work with reputable people, and getting in touch with reputable people is one of the things that we're doing through the No Homeowner Left Behind initiative.
I think it's important to say that, there is no guarantee that in every situation you're going to save your home. Because you may be in a situation that you're so upside down, the lender is unable to work with you, your financial situation has changed, but if you're going to, the best chance you have is to work with a HUD-approved housing counselor.
Okay, and you don't want people to abandon their property.
Do not abandon their property. Do not stop paying your mortgage payments. If you can possibly make them, continue making your mortgage payments. Don't put it on your credit card. That puts you into, don't trade a 7% loan for 25% loan. That just is a bad financial decision. If you've already made one bad financial decision, don't compound it with a worse one. So these are things you should be aware of.
Well, and the other thing that we're trying to do with the No Homeowner Left Behind Foundation and some of our local network that we've put together is be able to help homeowners. If they're maybe thinking they have a problem, we can help them. If they're right in the middle of that problem, we can help them too. And, hopefully they haven't, but if they do lose their home, we have resources to refer people to even after they lose their home. Foreclosure is simply a symptom of a larger problem, and we're here to help no matter where they are in that spectrum.
So just take action. Is the
Absolutely.
bottom line.
Be proactive. Be proactive.
Okay.